This is the Inkpulp Podcast. This is the Inkpulp Podcast. Comics, hip hop, life. Namaste, motherfucker. Now fuck out the way while I balance these chakras. That's that spiritual gangsterism shit. Welcome to the Inkpulp Podcast, everybody. I got a few things to talk about, and we got a cool episode coming up today. Right here, right now, right after this intro. So I was scrolling through Twitter. I know, why would you do that? Why? Why would you do that? That's nonsense. I hear that. And I've been guilty of bitching about social media. But it's allowing me to sort of curate this life I want to have. And it's allowing me to connect with my fans directly and be fully independent as an artist. So I'm choosing the positive over the negative. But I saw a post from an artist I know who's been struggling a lot with what's going on in the world, and rightfully so. These are very challenging times, and there's a lot of hatred in the air, a lot of negativity, a lot of anxiety, some of it COVID related, some of it the division in the country, some of it is how rampant racism is right now, and that's all legit. But we have a choice in how we react to things. And I know that's easy to say and hard to do. But this is just something I've been working on, and I have made progress in. So my friend had been talking about how hard it's been to draw lately, these pages, and how it's hard to stay focused when you're this hurt, this angry, and you want to cry, and you want to lash out, and you want to rage, and all of these overwhelming emotions are consuming you. And he finished off by saying, I wish I wasn't this way, but this is just how I'm wired. And I've been there, and I've said that. And I don't believe that we are slaves to our wiring, victims of our nature. I believe that we can grow and we can change. It requires work, and the first step is an open mind. So I was in a place where I was just suffering, and my emotions ruled me. And it reminds me of a line in the movie Seven, where Brad Pitt's emotions are controlling him, and he's angry or whatever. And Morgan Freeman, I don't remember the exact line, but he says something to the extent of, it's interesting watching a man's emotions control him. And that got me thinking about how I was living. And it's very easy to say, this is just how I am. And that's true at the time you say it. But that's also a surrender to what you're feeling. For me, it was. So through a lot of work, a lot of meditation, a lot of self-help books, a lot of exercise, a lot of self-reflection, I can now, when I feel these feelings bubbling up, I can check them, recognize them, and let them go. And that's kind of the essence of meditation. So I've found success in this, and I'm speaking on it in the hopes that maybe someone else can find success in this, and you can find happiness. Life is chaos. The world is full of awful things. We don't have to be in a state of misery to feel like that's the fair way to be. I mean, I get that. How can I be happy when there's so much suffering? Well, what does you being unhappy accomplish? Does it make the suffering go away? No. It adds to the suffering. If we think of the human species as a collective of energies, and you've got a portion, let's say there's 5 people suffering, and there's 10 people over here who aren't suffering, but feel an obligation to suffer because that 5 is suffering. Now you've got 15 people suffering, and that creates a frequency or an energy that's greater, where the suffering is stronger. But if those 10 people can choose happiness and use their positive frequency and their positive mindset and put it to work for those 5 people suffering, well, maybe you can end the suffering of 2 of those people, and you bring the entire frequency of suffering down. That's the idea. At least that's what I think. And that's just how I'm trying to live my life. So I just wanted to speak on that for a little bit, because I think it's worth entertaining up here. Let the grape digest some of that shit. Balance your motherfucking chakras. Yeah. So just some more thoughts from the crazy mind of me. Today is a cool episode. It's another one of our ink sessions, but yeah, I mean, I still can't believe this is my life at times. Like, this is crazy. I'm sitting here today with Klaus Janson again, with Tim Sale again, and Jim Mahfood again. 3 very influential artists on me before I ever was a professional artist. And today we're inking Frank Miller. I mean, I should just quit after this, right? Right? Leave on a high note? Fuck that. Yeah, man. I mean, Klaus and Frank are the reason I got into comics. So to be inking a Frank Miller drawing alongside Klaus and getting feedback from him as we go, school's in session, son. This is going to be dope. And then I got Tim Sale, who's going to have an entirely unique approach to this, and Mahfood. I mean, Jim only does shit his way, and it looks like nothing I've ever seen. So, I'm going to do it my way too. I can't deny the influence these 3 artists have had on me, and I'm sure you'll see it in my work. But I'm excited, and I'm really fucking amped on this. And I'm sure the results are going to be auctioned off. I'm recording this a little ahead of time. So just check the link below for auctions. And that's that. Enjoy. Please subscribe. Please like. Please comment. And let's keep this YouTube thing moving. Peace.
Seen each other. We've got Sean Crystal down in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yo.
Jim Mahfood's over in Portland, Oregon.
What's up, guys?
Oregon. Tim Sale's out in Seattle, Washington. And Klaus is over in Manhattan.
Hey.
And we're all just going to be hanging out and drawing some Frank Miller blue lines from Dark Knight Returns. Pretty exciting, I think.
I think so too. I'm very excited about this.
Some of my favorite.
I'm excited to see what you guys do.
Klaus, any tips going in?
No, you're completely competent. Let's go. Come on, Sean. You can do this.
Let's see. I just want to make sure. Yep, we are live. Good. Want to make sure it's working. 1986. That was a good year, Klaus, don't you think?
Yeah. This, the blue line.
Pencil 86?
Pardon? This blue line that we're working on was penciled for, I think, the 10-year anniversary. So it would be like 96.
96.
So it was the first piece of work that Frank and I did together since 86 for the anniversary edition of Dark.
Wow.
Someone vacuuming?
Yeah.
No, sadly, this is my life. There's an alley right outside my studio, and there's a garbage truck out there.
Oh my God.
Let's say Benjamin Lee says to say hello, Tim Sale, and to me, but Klaus and Sean and Jim,
Hey,
you don't get a hello from Ben.
Fucked
Ben.
up, Ben.
Ben, how dare you?
But he says hello from Seattle now, so it's all good. So yeah, 1986. Klaus, what was that like? I guess once you got those scripts, what was going through your head? Was it something exciting? I mean, at that point you've been working with Frank for a few years.
Yeah, we had a break in between. He was doing Ronin and he was doing some other stuff. Between Daredevil and Dark Knight, there was a break. But in terms of the script, honestly, I never saw the script. I just got the pages. So when Frank was ready to hand in the pages, I would go up to DC and pick them up and take them home and get to work. It wasn't anything. There was no band or music. It was like a regular job in a lot of ways.
Did you talk to him about it?
A little bit, not as much. I think somewhere along the line he moved to LA. I forget if it was in the middle of this, but we did live only 3 or 4 blocks from each other at a certain point. So we did see each other and we did talk about stuff. Yeah.
That was always a big thing. I think when we talked before, that was always a big thing for me, was trying to have the ability to talk to the writer. It's different with an inker and a penciler, but it just also helps in a sort of clubhouse kind of way.
I totally agree. Yeah. It connects you to the project, don't you think, Tim?
It does so for me, at least, a lot.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I definitely do my best work that way, not with just getting a job on paper and going away and doing it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Did you, Klaus or Tim, did you guys have any relationships where it wasn't going well and you didn't want to talk to them?
No. I had relationships where it didn't go well because we weren't talking. But that's different. I wanted to talk.
Let's see. There's a question from Anthony Marquez. What is it like for Klaus to ink something that he did once before, especially after a substantial amount of time has gone by?
Anthony, first of all, it's I miss you. It's good to hear from you. You are awesome. I think my since I did ink this once before, my goal is today to do a better job.
Was there something that you didn't like on the first pass?
I didn't like the way I handled the face. I thought the face could have been done better. And so my goal is simply to, do a better job. I think I am, if I could say, I think I'm a better inker. I think I'm a better artist now. And frankly, if I'm not, I should really hang it up. So I'm looking at it from a point of view of let's try and do this in the Klaus Janson 2020 style rather than 1990 or 96, whenever it was.
Do you have specifics about what that means? Do you think?
Say that again.
Do you have specifics about what that means?
I do. I think I understand form better, and I think my drawing is better. So I think my approach to Frank is a little simpler. Not quite as hairy, not quite as overworked, maybe. Just simple. I really liked working on DK3 and working on Frank's pencils, in the backstory. That was great fun. I really enjoyed the hell out of it.
Klaus, I had a question for you.
Shoot.
In '86, when you guys are working on this stuff, you didn't know that it was going to become a cultural phenomenon, right? Or did you? Or did you?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Not even remotely, and I don't think anybody else did either, for that matter.
Right. So it was kind of a happy side effect of a project that I'm assuming you were passionate about anyway. It just so happened that the rest of the world sort of caught on to this whole thing, right?
Yeah, I think that's true. That it's true that it was a happy side effect or a byproduct of something that Frank and I both really enjoyed doing. I think we both enjoy working together, and to have the project succeed, to the degree that it did, was definitely a bonus.
Oh yeah.
I mean, honestly, and I'll say this, forever. My career would not be the same. My life wouldn't be the same. So
right, yeah.
I'm extremely grateful to Dark Knight and to Frank.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting. Like, you worked on something that will forever be considered one of the greatest things made in a specific medium. So.
Well, that's extremely nice of you to say.
That's got to feel good. That's got to be. That's a feather in the cap, man, for sure.
I appreciate that. I know that. I suspect that my tombstone will say, Thinker of Dark Knight, right? And and that's not bad. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, sure.
Could be way worse. Could be, Sean and I will be there to make sure it says also. Nice guy.
Here lies Klaus, inker of Logan's Run.
Wow,
that's awesome.
Is my audio on? Is anyone hearing me?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
You're good.
All right, I thought I was cast aside.
Yeah, their whole zeitgeist of the late '80s, early '90s, Watchmen, and to be a part of that whole changing, which then got co-opted kind of by the Image stuff, but the way that it was kind of the everything had been experimented on, and some glorious stuff coming out of the black and white boom in the '80s. Cerebus and the Love and Rockets and stuff like that, and just the coming to a head with Dark Knight and Watchmen.
And that was also the year, of course, that Mouse came out with Art.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Jim
There you go,
Mahfood
Sean. There you go.
Yeah.
I thought it was the year of Mouse too.
Yeah, it was a pretty amazing year.
Klaus, in that era, were you guys actively doing convention appearances, signings, and public kind of events to celebrate and promote?
Not as a duo, but I definitely noticed more invitations coming into my mailbox.
Sure.
I think there was one time when we were together. Yeah, there was a time, I remember it. We were together in San Diego, and Frank and I hadn't spoken in a while. He was out in LA at this point, and it was kind of cool. We were just hanging out. We were talking about Kirby. Drinks in our hands, standing next to a swimming pool.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's amazing. Yeah.
It was like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It was like, funny.
That's so cool, man. I got to have one of those drinks in hand Kirby conversations with Frank back in the late 90s, early 2000s when Bob Schreck was still with Oni Press.
Sure.
We had like a dinner in, I believe it was Seattle, and everyone was sitting down at a restaurant. It just so happened that I sat right next to Frank. It wasn't planned. And the guy also sitting next to Frank was not a comic book guy. He was like a friend of someone's.
Uh-huh.
So he was not interested in our nerdy conversation. So I basically got to have a 2-hour dinner conversation with Frank Miller, basically.
Oh, Jim, I never heard that story. That's amazing.
Yeah, Sean, I didn't bring it up on our Dark Knight video. I should have, but it was really amazing, man. And at one point I got up to use the restroom and I was walking past Shrek and I had this look on my face like, I can't believe this is happening. And Shrek just looks at me and he's like, you know what you're doing. He's like, you're good. You know what you're doing. And I was just like, oh man. Cause Shrek introduced me to Frank as like one of the new guys.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Frank had no idea who I was, but he was completely polite and respectful. And the conversation was very easy because we're talking about like Kirby and Eisner and stuff that we can both connect on. So really cool. Something I won't forget,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
One of the amazing things about Frank is that he knew everybody, or he knows everybody.
Yeah.
He had a friendship with Will Eisner. He's met Jack Kirby. He knew everybody, as opposed to say myself, who's always been a little bit more introverted and shy. What do I have to say to Will Eisner, right? I mean, I got nothing to say. What am I going to say? But Frank has a wealth of friendships and relationships, and he can talk about anybody from like a personal point of view.
Right.
He called me out of the blue. Must have been around 1990. Because he was doing Ronin stuff and Lone Wolf and Cub, starting to do those covers and everything, and so there was a real Japan on his mind.
Oh yeah.
And I'd been talking to Matt Wagner, I know, but maybe somebody else. I don't know how it got to Frank, but there was this. God, what's his name? Kinji Tojima, I think. So I think he's the children's book illustrator and writer. And he did a book called Fox's Dream. It's just a picture. It's a picture book, so 12 pages long or something. Double page illustrations. And a kind of woodcut look, but painted.
Right.
With no words, Tim?
No, there are words, but very simple.
Uh-huh.
Minimal words. And I can't remember what the dream is. He's in the snow, and I think he sees a white fox or something and tries to chase it and never gets it. So the whole thing is kind of dreamlike. But I don't know how it got to Frank, but he called to sort of talk. And I remember I was living with a woman named Katie, and she had been to San Diego with me, and she'd met Matt and his wife Barb, and we were kind of pals. All of us were pals. And she answers the phone and says, "Just a minute," and turns to me and says, "Frank Miller for Tim Sale."
Wow.
Oh man.
I know. And I don't remember the conversation, and it was only 10 minutes or something like that. But yeah, that was pretty wild.
That's awesome. Tim, you mentioned the Lone Wolf and Cub Frank Miller covers.
Right.
Those covers alone, just seeing those on like the shelf in the comic shop at the time,
Yeah.
made me pick up the book. Like I had no idea what Lone Wolf was, or
I didn't, me either.
You know, severely lacking in knowledge of like manga and anime at that time. But just those covers alone, I was like, well, shit, it's Frank Miller. I mean, this has got to be worth exploring, right?
Right.
And it was, for sure.
Matt ended up doing covers too.
Yes.
He had
Yes.
a run on those.
Man, this inking Frank Miller, this is like so fun. It's so open to like playing with mark making.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we got Jack Davis in my head.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Well, I often do when I'm making.
You know that, and I hope I'm not repeating myself, but Frank is a very big fan of Jack Davis.
Yeah.
I had not heard that before, so
Yeah.
you are repeating yourself. Right?
Apparently an enormous influence.
Oh wow.
You know, he can, like Tim, you and I were quoting like panels from Steranko at one convention. He can quote Davis like that.
Wow.
From like the war issues, the EC stuff, or what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Loves it.
Yeah, I can do that a little bit. I can do that. Betsy, especially. Do you know Betsy?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. From it, that. You're talking about a story itself, right, Betsy?
Yeah, he wrote it, and it begins with a bad guy dressed in black riding away from an old man who he's just beaten up and taken his money or something like that from, and the old man keeps muttering to himself, Betsy's got to talk to him. And it turns out that Betsy's a gun, and the old man ends up shooting.
I remember this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember this totally.
But it's just fantastic inking and tour de force.
I'll have to look it up when we get off the streaming.
Tim, did you work with Frank ever at any
No.
point?
No.
Okay.
Well, people give me shit about Deathblow in that way, but
They just gave you shit, Tim, because they love you. That's all.
who doesn't love me, Klaus? Come on.
That's hilarious.
So you guys, I called or I texted Klaus yesterday before I sat down and started monkeying with this, saying, look, you got any tips or anything, or should I just go do whatever? And as we do, we just ended up talking a lot, hanging out, and but it was very helpful. It was great, Klaus, even just to talk and chat and kind of relax me a little bit.
That's awesome.
Klaus, does Frank know we're doing this today?
You know, I sent them an email, but I didn't get a response. I think that, you know, they're really busy with promoting Cursed, which, you know, came on Netflix last week.
Right.
So I'm not sure even if he's in the country, but yeah, he'll find out eventually.
Yeah, that's true.
He might be watching secretly, just from
Jim,
afar.
don't say it.
Yeah, be sure to alert us, Jason, if he starts making comments.
I will. There's been a few questions that have been coming in, but I've been waiting for you guys to.
Well, shoot.
All right, let's hear some.
All right, let's see. Yale Stewart is asking, do any of you guys have a recurring approaches to inking? For example, I always start with the foreground, with the most foreground element and work backwards, stuff like that.
No, I kind of go wherever it feels right at first.
Yeah, me too. And I don't. It's very unusual for me to ink somebody else.
Yeah, that's true. Me too.
So I have a much clearer idea in my head where I'm going to start. Although it's not really conscious, it's just, I don't know, for whatever reason, instinctive for something. But when I'm making my own stuff, I mean, and but no, it's not a rule. Do you guys know Yale's work?
I do.
Yeah,
I'm a
I
big fan.
do.
Yeah,
JLA.
we've shared
Yeah,
many a
yeah.
barbecue with Yale.
You what, Klaus?
We've shared many a barbecue
Ah,
at conventions.
That's right. He was at the barbecue in North Carolina last year, right, Klaus?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And Yale, and I hope Yale, your dog is doing fine.
yeah, he posted a picture yesterday. He finally.
Oh, he did? That's awesome.
Let's see.
Well, he
Federico.
posts 50 pictures a day, you know, so. He did. I had to get him shit about it. I mean, it's a cute dog, but Jesus.
Yeah.
Let's see. Federico says, you all need to attend the Lake Como Festival in Italy next year in May. Beautiful location, beautiful people, amazing artists all together and relaxing atmosphere.
I very much want to do that show, probably more than any other show right now.
We were scheduled to be there, but
Yeah.
had to cancel. So Matteo, Klaus, Tim, and I, and Mo were supposed to go.
Yeah, that was ground zero for the
Yeah,
of the COVID that they had over there.
Yeah.
If he's extending the invite, then yeah, I'm there.
Oh yeah, as long as we got a
Jim, let's go, bro.
I'm
Let's go next.
I'm
as long as
down.
we got a vaccine, I'm there.
Yeah, I still have not been to Italy ever, so that's on my.
Oh my God.
That's on my list, man. Like,
Dude, we gotta have Matteo set up another tour like he did last time. You come on this one.
Yep. Mo hadn't been there either, so she was pretty devastated.
Yeah, my kids were supposed to go to Croatia.
Let's see. Yale says you can just unfollow him if you don't want to see pictures of his dog.
No guilt. No guilt.
Let's see.
Well, Tim, I think you've been put in your place. That's hilarious.
And I think Susan's in here watching, so you better be careful, Tim.
Hey, Susan.
Here's the one. Klaus is a fellow legendary inker. Any thoughts on Joe Sinnott? Did he influence you? Ever meet him? Asked Mike Twitty.
I never met Joe. He was not a frequent visitor to the office. He lived upstate. But I think that Joe was, I don't want to, go out on a limb here, but I think Joe was the best inker of all time. And I think Tim and I were talking about this the other day.
Yeah.
And Tim is right. He didn't look good on Neil Adams. Or not everyone. But I always thought that Joe was the ultimate professional, and that you knew what to expect, and he was reliable, dependable, and amazingly gifted. And one of the things that I really liked about Joe's work was that he epitomized the theory that the best inkers are also pencilers. And he knew how to draw, and that really made him that much better of an inker.
Well said.
Yeah.
He's certainly my favorite Kirby inker.
Oh yeah. His rocks and his texture and his backgrounds. When that issue with the first issue with Mole Man, it's just amazing, his caves and the way he handled his brush.
I used to envy and try to figure out how he did his sort of burst lines. Because they're all freehand and they're all so just beautifully done. I mean, he wasn't the only guy that could do it, but he was the best at doing it. I thought, and you certainly get a lot of practice doing that working with Kirby. So,
for sure. As a kid, I always tried to figure out how inkers were doing that. I mean, I thought they were using like a ruler.
Yeah, I did too.
And you really can't use a ruler, right?
Well,
I was taking forever.
Yeah.
You just have to do it quickly.
Right.
But still, I never got it, I never mastered it.
One of the things that I think up and coming artists I don't know if this is true, but I've seen it at school where kids don't realize that when you're working, you should use both hands. That you can turn the page,
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Like I remember I think I filmed a little video of myself inking something and put it up on Instagram, and Tony Moore DM'd me. He's like, "Do you always turn your paper that much?" But I'm always angling. Like, I feel like inking's a game of finding the right angle to make that stroke with.
Yeah, I used to. I don't do that much of it. Dave Johnson's another guy who just half the time he's working upside down. He's constantly turning all the time. And I remember, for some reason, I just on my own came up with, if I'm a really good artist, I ought to be able to do it without turning the paper. Just an idiot.
I love how we create these ideas in our head.
I've long given that up, but I still don't do that much of it. Turning. Anybody else, Jason?
Susan says, "That's right. Hello, Klaus."
Hey, Susan.
And I want to go back to ship orders, but Colin's here, says hello. Brian's here, says hello. A treat. Everyone's enjoying it so far.
Awesome. Klaus, are there any more contemporary inkers that you're real inspired by?
No.
That's honest.
Yes, good answer.
Yeah.
That's not true. I like a lot of, every week there's a new guy. I mean, tell me, Sean, I'm wrong, right? I mean, how do you?
No, you're right.
Right?
Yeah.
This last week I was looking at David Reuben, a guy who did he pencils and inks his own work and works in sort of a cartoony style. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Yeah, it's you're always looking for something, don't you think, Sean? I mean,
Yeah, I'm always. I love seeing. Tell me what you think about this thought. I feel like we're in like an inking renaissance where I feel like for a while inking was just part of the production line. Now you don't have to have an inker, or people are just sketching on a computer with black lines and they're calling it inking. But I feel like because of that, the people that are really inking like traditionally are really experimenting with it in really new and exciting ways, more so than I've seen in the past. Do you agree with that?
I'm really happy to hear that. I hope you're right.
Yeah, we talked about this on my podcast a bit. You were feeling pretty down about the future of inking, and I was very optimistic.
I see. Who are you thinking of, Sean? Can you?
Well, I'm just thinking of people like in our crew. Like I look at what Jim's doing with ink. I look at what Mateo's doing with ink. I look at what Eric's doing with ink.
And Dan Panosian.
And Panosian, yeah. Everybody. Everyone's like really creating some. And Tim, like Tim's working so wet. I'm working so dry. I love to see all this range going on. And I feel like you see more of the individual inker in the work nowadays than maybe in the past.
I think that's a lot truer with people that pencil their own stuff too.
Yeah, that could be it. That could definitely.
I think that's always been true.
That's
a good point.
That's comforting and inspiring. Yeah. Do you guys know James Herron's work?
Yeah, I love James.
Love his work.
Yeah, he was in my class at SVA, and he told me one time that, because I asked him how he works. He's one of those guys that you couldn't really teach anything. He was good from the very beginning. And he told me we've had lots of lunches since then and get-togethers. Although now he's in Pennsylvania. But he told me one time that he thought that the drawing was born in the inking stage. And I never forgot that, because I thought that was, I thought, wow, that's. Really
I could definitely see that. Yeah. That's a great, I pencil, like my whole drawing is created for what the inks are going to do.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's like, I lay down the blueprint with the pencil, but the style and the all the magic comes in the inking. If I can be as so bold as this, call it magic, but yeah, I have to ink my own stuff. That's the crucial part of the process.
Yeah, me too. I don't. At different times, like at conventions, I'll be more experimental with it than I'm working on panels,
Right.
It's still part of what's in my head the whole time I'm penciling.
Yeah, me too. For sure.
You guys say that's the most fun? That's the most gratifying part of the process?
The inking?
Not always for me, but it certainly can be.
Yeah.
It is. Pretty much.
Jim, you have a question from Ethan asking, what started your affinity for the parallel pen?
I was using these felt-tipped calligraphy pens back in 2006, and I liked the line variety you get by just immediately twisting the pen as you're making the line. And Ashley Wood saw me using these using the felt tip ones in San Diego Comic-Con in 2007. He was like, "Hey, don't mess with that felt tip shit. Check this out." And he turned me on to these metal tipped, the Pilot Parallel pen, which everyone sort of, knows about now. And
I don't.
Well, Tim, we're sending you a box right now. And by the way, if anyone from Pilot is watching this, or anyone knows anyone at Pilot, You guys should be sponsoring me at this point because I've been promoting this pen since 2007, and where's my royalty? Where's my
show a little love?
Yeah, show some love, people.
That's right.
But no, I just like the like weird metal square you're inking with this almost like knife thing that you can just get all this crazy variety with one pen. So that's my answer.
Sounds more like
Is that a pen you can get like at Staples, or is it an art store?
You can get it at art stores now. When I got first turned on to it, man, you had to just order it like on Jet Pens online, but
Sure.
they've become so popular now that you can get it, at Dick Blick or whatever. But that being said, I still use brush pens and microns, and it's kind of like whatever does the trick.
Well, it's whatever the job needs.
Yes.
Let's see. There's a very long question here, and it's in a few different parts, Klaus. So we can kind of dissect it. But there's some interesting questions. John is asking, Klaus, I love the gallery edition of Dark Knight Returns because I can really appreciate your inks and how critical they are to the style, impact, and success of those books. In the book, it shows some panels that Frank re-inked. Did it bother you when he did that, or did you just accept that as part of the process? How many? Well, then it goes into how many pages do you own still from the book?
where you live.
Yeah.
Your windows.
I guess there's good stories about those pages. Let's see, but we can start with the first part, I guess.
I think that when I'll say this, that the penciler is the boss, and I have that in my head regardless of who I'm inking. So whether it's John Jr. or George Perez or anybody else, Frank, the penciler is the boss. If they're not happy with the work, my offer is always I'll redo it. And in Dark Knight, it was one of those cases where there wasn't enough time to redo it, or miscommunications, or shit happens. So I wasn't upset, but I would probably have liked to have done the re-inks myself.
Do you know what his problem was?
I think Frank just didn't think I was doing my best job.
But it wasn't a question of using a pen instead of a brush or some little technical thing?
No, it wasn't that. I think Frank just wasn't happy with what I was doing. It was just simply a case of that. The controversial issue was issue 3, where Frank did a lot of re-inking. And once I was aware of that and made aware of that, you can see in issue 4, I think there were 2 panels that he re-inked. And so, I got back on the ball, so to speak.
Was issue 3 was the Joker issue?
That's right.
Yeah.
The Joker in the tunnel issue.
Tunnel of Love, yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
When you started, I guess you were doing conventions at that point, right? Because you sold a bunch of those pages during that year.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Average.
I don't have any Dark Knight pages, but I have some Daredevil pages.
I'm assuming. Do you regret? Obviously, in retrospect, it's easy to regret selling them, but how are you going to know that it's going to be what it was?
Yeah, and my lesson in that was hang on to stuff.
Do you remember how much you sold them for, Klaus?
I do, and I'm not telling you. I can tell you that it's extremely painful.
Oh God, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
at the
my
time-
Heroes TV show artwork is the same story.
Really?
Yeah.
Say it, Tim. What? Tell the story. What?
Well, I had a dealer then who had been around for a long time, and he really pulled my ass out of the fire with Dark Victory, because he was the only dealer that really wanted to take. I had not sold any of the artwork from all of Dark Victory the whole time I was doing it, and we were an idea to try to sell the whole thing as a package.
Sure.
And nobody bid.
Oh my God.
I remember that.
I started calling people, and this guy was the guy who said, "Yeah, I'd be happy to." And so I worked with him for a number of years until Jason, really. And but in doing the TV show, I had all the artwork. I just sent scans away from the pilot, and the pilot is what everybody really remembers the artwork from, or certainly the first season. And but the pilot has a lot of the really big, memorable pictures. I don't know how memorable they are now, but they were at the time, or identifiable pictures, I should say. And I suggested we hang on to them to see what was going to happen, and he said, "No, I've seen this happen a lot of times. It never really goes up, and it doesn't really." So we sold them all not as a bunch, but sold them all really quickly for next to nothing.
Oof.
Yeah, and I probably was out, I don't know, $150,000, something.
Oh, oh, man.
And he never apologized about it.
I remember walking down the street in the city and seeing a big billboard with your art on it. I'm like, okay, that's going to be big.
Yeah. Well, it right away, the art was sold the show in a lot of ways.
Right.
But they didn't know. They didn't know until it started to happen. And then once they saw that it was a way they could actually really use to drive plots, then I was asked to do a lot. And so there was a fair amount of art that happened during that time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sean, Jim, don't we all have stories like that? At least one story?
Of art.
Wishing you hadn't sold.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been fairly lucky. I mean, it's I wish I would have held on to all the like Marvel Spider-Man stuff I did.
I take it you sold all that.
I sold most of it. I just discovered I have some covers that I didn't know I still had. Like a week ago, I was cleaning my studio, so that was a kind of a cool revelation. When I worked with Kevin Smith on the Clerks comics in the late 90s, one cool thing about working with Kevin is I'd get paid by Oni to do the books, and then Kevin would buy every single piece of original art.
Yeah.
So
I did that with Matt Wagner too on Green Arrow.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
All the covers.
And Phil Hester and Andy Parks on the interiors. But so as a young kid, though, young artist, I mean, that was kind of a cool thing, knowing like, okay, I'm going to get paid twice basically when I work with Kevin.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The downside is I don't own any of that original art,
Yeah.
but I'm assuming it's in like a vault at Kevin's house, maybe, or,
Yeah, I can't see him getting rid of that.
No, not on his own creator-owned stuff. I don't think so.
Right.
Tim, I was going to make a joke in reference to your story of like, could we get like maybe Dan Panosian and Jeff Johnson involved to go after people and maybe rough them up, or
You mean the buyers or the art dealer?
the shady art dealer characters.
Well, Jason thinks he's more shady than I do. I think he fucked up and he should have apologized. That's my take on that.
Right.
This guy's been around time. He's a curmudgeon.
A curmudgeon in comics? I don't believe it.
Well, people complain about Jason, and he's a sweetheart. So there's an awful lot of entitlement from fans.
Yeah, that's true.
As well, but
Right.
Well, I'm the guy that has to say no. So
Yeah, but let's say a positive thing about Jason. I think Jason is one of those guys who's pooling art sales and comic book stuff and paraphernalia into the 21st century. I mean, you think about these guys that we used to deal with in the 80s,
That's true.
80s, and it's barbarism, compared to what Jason can do these days.
That's true.
Yeah,
And Jason's also very fair and honest. I will say that.
yeah, that's the biggest thing when anybody ever asks me, or I hear him being discussed about with fans and with pros, is that he's honest.
Yeah, I back that up totally.
Which obviously is valuable, but also says how other art dealers are perceived.
That's right.
That's true. That's true.
thank you. I appreciate it.
We didn't mean it.
Oh, okay.
Now, where's that fucking money?
I gotta tell all of you guys, this is such a dream come true to sit here and ink Frank Miller amongst Tim Sale, Klaus Janson, Mahfood is pretty awesome.
I'm doing mine later. So
Sean, it's your idea. You're the ringmaster.
I'm just making my dreams come true, Klaus.
Good job. Yeah, this is fun. This is
Yeah, I'm really having fun inking Frank.
there's a question. Are these pieces going to be auctioned later? Yes, they are indeed.
Yes,
We'll be posting on social media when they're going up. Jim's going to post on his eBay account in the next few days, I'm assuming.
Yep.
So
Yeah, Jay, I'm going to release this podcast on Monday when I'm at your house. So we'll make the eBay for this go live on that day, and I'll put a link in there. Cool?
Yep. So just keep an eye out on our social media, and we'll post them probably throughout August. I don't know if we'll do them all at once, but we also have a few others from the last few weeks that we have to pop up on there. There's a
Yeah,
Tim Sale, Salmon Grundy.
when you guys were ranking me.
Yeah. I just got Klaus's last week. I was going to post it today on eBay. So there's a Salmon Grundy that's coming up.
Don't do that. Sell it to me.
You want it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, listen, I guess Tim gets priority over everybody else as long as Klaus is okay with it.
I don't
Yeah, the
have,
Daredevil sold for a good bit too. The one I did.
So we'll auction off, I guess.
Daredevils in there.
What's that?
Weren't there a couple Daredevils in there? Jim,
Yeah.
do one?
Yeah. From Klaus, though, I've got the Salmon Grundy. There's a Batman. And let's see if I can find it. They're right here because I was getting them ready. So this is the Salmon Grundy, but apparently Tim wants it. So
I like that piece. Hey guys, have you noticed are more artists doing commissions during the pandemic?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
And people are buying more commissions, I think, too.
Is that right? So it's a thing, right? It's not just my
Yeah, I feel like
is the thing.
all the people that like to go to conventions and get commissions, they're not spending money on the travel and the hotel. and this is a way for them to still get the artwork. And they're also they seem to be very supportive of us and like caring about that we're doing okay too.
Yeah,
That's my perception.
definitely, man. It's
Mine
a
too.
noticeable. It's a noticeable.
The guys in the group, Dave and Cully are doing a lot of stuff. Dan is just churning things out, not commissions necessarily, but page after page, stuff he's working on. I can't believe how fast he's moving on all that stuff.
Yeah, he's just cruising along, man. I love seeing his progress and his posts of what he's doing.
You talking about Dan?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan is crazy on fire.
There's a comment from your wife, Stephanie Sean, saying, "Hello, Mr. Wonderful."
Hello, baby.
Aw. Boo!
Wait, Mr. Wonderful, I thought you were the Trap King.
Trap God, Jim.
Oh,
Trap God.
God.
I'm many things. Today I'm Mr. Wonderful in honor of Action Bronson.
You can take on more than one title.
That's right.
It's okay.
Are we going to have to call you that, Sean, from now on, Mr.
No.
Wonderful?
You don't have to, but I would really appreciate it.
Okay, will do.
Never going to happen.
Yeah, Ryan, these will be up on eBay on both Jim's account and then on Essential Sequentials, which is Thunderbolt 14. But we'll make announcements on our social media when they're ready to go. We have a few backed up, so there's some from the John Romita Jr. stream that we have, some from the Tim Sale stream, and then these will go up probably next week sometime. Let's see, Jim. Jim, did you finish?
No, I'm just sending you, Jason. I just emailed you the link to my Vampirilla piece that I inked over Tim. That's on eBay.
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on.
Damn, Jim, that is looking hot.
Oh, thanks, man.
That's dope.
All right. So here you guys can check out the current auction that Jim has over Tim Sale's Blue Lines. I just posted it. It's currently at $500. Wait, no, that ended.
Oh shit! Did it? They said they relisted it.
Wait, see original listing relisted. All right, so okay, here it is. Got to find the right link.
Oh shit! Sorry, man.
No worries.
Good work, Jim.
Way to go, Jim.
Hey, I'm just trying to get it out there. I'm just trying to get it out there to the people.
It's all about the people.
Alfonso's asking if Mr. Wonderful is giving online classes.
I am launching a series of educational downloadable videos, and I've shot mine. I'm shooting one with Mr. Mahfood soon, Mr. Kennedy,
Yep.
Mr. Tommy Lee Edwards.
Are you monetizing this, Sean?
Yeah. I'm. Klaus, I missed teaching. I couldn't find myself going back to work for a school. I just couldn't do it. So I was like, why don't I create? Basically, my goal is, and I want to talk to you about this, to offer in the end, a full library of comic book art education that someone could spend a lot less than art school costs and get a far superior education in, is my goal.
Wow.
I like that.
Yeah.
Tim, Klaus, what are your guys' thoughts on art school for Is it something you recommend to aspiring comic artists, potential illustrators, or what are your thoughts on that?
Tim, you want to?
Well, it's not something I think about much, but yes, I always liked. Well, I was a terrible student, and I think I've told the story before about. I know I've told the story before about coming away from the John Buscema workshop thinking I didn't know how to do comics.
Right.
And storytelling especially. I didn't have a sense of what to do. And then all of a sudden, years later, I did. But a lot of that came from looking at other people's work. And I was always much more of a tip guy. I like to get tips. You know what you should do is this, or use this pen or this brush, or rather than other kind of stuff. And some of that is just being shy. And, I didn't like pretty much being critiqued, especially by a class, if they're going to put it up in front of the class and talk about it. But I was pretty self-confident.
Right.
That I believed I had ability, but I knew I needed polishing, and I think I could have gotten there quicker if I had better teachers and more of it, and been more relaxed with listening. So I do think people could learn from it, benefit from it.
Right.
I mean, no one's going back to school for a while though, no?
Currently as an instructor, I think that school is really helpful for a lot of different reasons, in addition to, say, the curriculum or the actual, subject that you're studying. But it isn't necessary anymore because there are so many other options, including, YouTube and Sean's program that he's constructing.
Yes.
There are so many other options that are available that the cost of school, $35,000, $40,000, $25,000 a year is
minimally, yeah.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's unreal.
And if you can afford it, great. But if you're a self-starter, you don't need it. The problem is that I find that, signing up for a year or for 4 years or 3 years, if you go into the Kubert school, it gives you real structure and it forces you to go into school and into class. I'm not a good self-starter, I need school. But if you can, deal with YouTube and having initiative, I think you don't need school, to succeed.
Mo's daughter wants to go to Kubert school.
Mo's daughter?
Yeah, she's been asking about it.
The one that's into art, right? The one that draws.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's actually good. She's
really
good. Yeah, she's quite good.
She needs some direction.
Is the Kubert school? It's not a 4-year program, is it?
It's 3 years.
3 years. Okay.
Yeah. Although they're thinking, I think, and I can't speak for them, but I think they're thinking of some 4-year classes, or maybe extending it to 4 years. Is Anthony still on, Jason?
Anthony is still there. I can't see who's in the room unless he says hello.
Anthony Marquez is the head of the Kubert School now.
Oh, right on. Okay.
Yeah. He's doing great things with the school.
Klaus, let me ask you a question about inking Frank Miller. So, what I always really enjoyed about seeing you ink him was it was a collection of really bold, thick mark making and really characteristic fine mark making.
Yeah.
And I felt like
Thick and thin.
yes, and I
loved
felt
it.
like Klaus, when you ink him, are you doing the bulk of the like bold mark making with a brush and then switching to a nib for the fine mark making?
Generally, I think that most of this stuff is in brush, but yeah, I'll switch to a nib, a 103 hunts, and do some noodling around with that, some cross hatching, maybe some texture work.
Okay.
Some of the smaller faces, but
Right.
there is a certain cohesion. I'm sure you know this. There's a certain cohesion if you do it all in brush.
Yes.
So you
Yes.
have to be, you have to keep it in mind that you're switching to a nib and try to meld the two. But
Right. I feel like I always tried. What were we saying, Tim?
Well, depending on what you mean by melding, I like not melding. I like the contrast between the pen and the brush.
Do you?
Yeah, that's thick and thin. I'm big fan of that.
I've wrestled for a long time, and it was mainly from looking at Klaus's work with whenever I picked up a nib, like the brush is such an organic, graceful tool, and the nib is like hard steel, and I could never find a harmony between the two that I enjoyed, and so I never really could figure out that thin and thick. But today, inking this, I'm just using my brush, and I feel like for the first time I'm able to really capture that.
oh, great! That's amazing.
Yeah, it feels good. I just could never get. I mean, I pick up a nib all the time, and Tim, it's funny what you just said is something I've kind of embraced, where I don't worry about the two harmonizing. Now I'm using a nib in situations where I'll be creating a reality separate from the one my brushwork is drawing, or creating depth and atmosphere by using nibs in the background and brush in the foreground, so that the fact that they don't harmonize works for the composition.
Yeah,
Well, Go ahead.
I mean, it's. I'm always drawn to more graphic inkers, and Klaus is one of them. And it's a couple of things. It's a combination of thick and thin that often contrast with each other.
Right.
I like that look a lot. I'm just starting in with a marker here on this Batman drawing.
Oh, cool.
But also, Davis, who only used a brush, as far as I know, would get thick and thin just with the brush. But it's certainly a cross hatching or nibbling and scratching at stuff, feathering with brush that you just can't get with a pen.
Right.
It's also very graphic that I like a lot too. So
I think the problem with a nib that I find is that it's not really good at feathering, and so
Right.
you need to it's basically a flat line. So at a certain point, when you have a larger shape to feather, it's got to be a brush. If it's a smaller shape, a smaller figure or a smaller face, you can use
Right.
the nib and get away with doing pretty much a flat line for the feathering. But the brush is just so much more versatile.
Yes. I agree.
I see a lot of fear in kids in class when they need to, if they try using a brush, they're just they're so scared.
Yeah, there was a big thing at the workshop. The senior taught inking, and he said, "Don't use a pen, use a brush. You can do anything with it." And he would sit down there with a ruler and use the brush for a straight line, and that kind of ridiculous stuff. But
and why did he recommend a brush? Tim?
Well, it was the mid to late 70s, and this paper was still shit, and the old school people were terrified of zipatone, moraying all over the place, and the idea was that a brush would A, stop you from noodling too much, and B, would just reproduce better. Bigger lines, cleaner, that kind of. But it was funny. I came home then and said to myself, "Well, okay, brush. Let's get a brush." I got the finest brush I could, and he used it just like a pen. So I realized I was doing that and said, "Okay, stop doing that. Embrace it for what it is," and that helped change a lot. And then there was certain artists like. I come back to him pretty often. Reuben Palaharo is a Spanish artist. And he now does the Hugo Pratt series. But I came to know him when he did a series called Dieter Lumpen. And that had a real thick and thin quality to it. And it just opened my eyes, made me so excited to look at it. I got a lot from him because he used a lot of black too. And a little thin line to contrast with it.
Brush.
I recommend any Dieter Lumpen collection. I really recommend to anybody.
What was the artist name, Tim?
Palaharo, P-E-L-L-E-R-R-O.
Okay.
Anthony's is here, Klaus. He's responded.
Oh, good. Anthony, is the Kubert School still 3 years, or what's going on?
He's saying the Kubert School has been really active with creating a bunch of different programs. We have master classes in addition to the regular curriculum.
Nice.
For example, Andy Kubert teaches a master class only for our students that is specific for DC Comics to use for reviews during the third year. We've also expanded into online courses the past year as well.
Good.
Nice.
Yeah, Anthony is really he's completely into making the Kubert School better. He's got so much energy. He's one of the best things that happened to the Kubert School. He's great. He's terrific.
Klaus, what would you do to help your students get over the fear of the brush?
Oh, that's a good one.
Because I remember what I used to do.
What? Tell me.
I would bring in a model, and we'd have a life drawing session where they could only use a brush.
Nice.
And the idea was start to just draw. It gave them the idea that they were just drawing. And I don't know if it was terribly successful.
If what you're scared of is making a mistake, I can imagine how terrifying that would be.
Yeah. I guess I felt like start making those mistakes. They're all lessons for us to learn from.
Also, you would think about different ways of using the brush.
Right, exactly.
That's a great idea, Sean. I'm going to try that. I'm going to say this, and I feel terrible about it already. But I get really sad when the kids in class, will open up their satchel and they have nothing but microns in
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
right? You know what I'm saying? And I think this is it's so sad. It's so, I don't know. It's like going into a boxing ring with one hand tied behind your back.
Right.
Using microns. It's so deficient.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
Klaus, the weird thing about that is it's like, it just seems like so much more work to just use pen. I mean,
It is.
if you're a micron kid and that's all you use, you're learning how to do all the line weights and everything. Just these pens. It's like if you give the brush or brush pens or whatever a chance. Once you start mastering that brush, you can you're eliminating a lot of that wasted time by just being able to manipulate the brush to do the work of like 10 different pens.
Right.
So for me, it's like, I understand the convenience of the micron and they're very disposable and whatever, but it's also
and easy. They're very user friendly when you aren't comfortable with the brush.
Yeah. In the long run, though, what I'm saying, though, it just seems like it's more work to just be a pen person.
I was fine with them using microns if they were practicing the theories I was teaching in terms of line weight and texture. But I did require them to keep a sketchbook of life drawing with brush work exclusively.
Right.
And my hope was they could learn the theories with something they were comfortable with and then become comfortable with a tool that would be much more effective for them.
Jim, I'm digging your piece, man. That's really cool.
Thank you.
You got the grittiness down.
Yeah, well,
you're rocking it.
I'm here for the grit, Jason.
That's all I need.
I don't even know what that means, but I'm here for the grit. It's Monday.
It's Monday. It's Grit Monday.
Yeah. Now, guys, I'll let you know what allowed me to master the brush when I was a kid in college. I think I told Sean this story before, maybe even on here, but I was in Kansas City and Hallmark's headquarters are in Kansas City.
Oh, you did tell me this, yeah.
And I wound up getting a freelance gig with Hallmark inking Garfield cards, which might sound like an easy thing to do, but no, you're wrong in assuming that. There's fucking style guides on how to ink Garfield. I had to work with like a trained Garfield inking expert, which is a position at Hallmark. He was my boss, and I had to go through like a training session. And once I passed it and received his, approval, it was all brushwork. But if you look at how Garfield is done and drawn and inked, those lines are like perfect lines. Like you have to meet a certain criteria. So I just think it's funny that like I learned how to ink with a brush by freelancing for Hallmark on Garfield, the blandest, most cartoon character that's ever existed.
Alfonso's asking then, what is better, a traditional brush or a brush pen?
Fuck those brush pens.
Traditional don't ignore what I'm doing right now with this brush pen. This is just for effect. This is just a thing. You want to learn how to ink with a traditional brush.
Yeah,
Kind of like this guy.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree totally. There's nothing like a real brush.
Having fun with the ink.
Jim, I was going to say when you were telling that story, at first I was like, it's hard to imagine you being so precision-based with your inks, but then I remember your early works, which you were pretty precision-based with like your clerk stuff.
Yeah. much tighter.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things, man, where I was inking all that stuff with pen and then going back and adding all the line weight with pen. And at a certain point, man, I started to like get serious carpal tunnel syndrome from that. Like I
bet.
I was like a 22-year-old guy going to a chiropractor saying, my hands getting fucked up from inking, from drawing.
Yeah.
And it was just that approach of just make it easier on yourself. You learn how to use different tools that do the work of 3 or 4 different tools at once, condense that into one thing, which is basically brush.
Right. What pens were you using? Like microns and shit, or were you using rapidographs?
I was using the Pilot Precise Rollerballer.
Okay.
This guy.
Yeah, that's what Tony Moore inked all the Walking Dead shit. A lot of his stuff with that.
My buddy Eli Schwab is asking a question. Jim, did you ever want to return to the world of Garfield? Eli, I would say, hell no. Hell no to that, buddy. That's a hard question. Hell no. Although having Hallmark in Kansas City, I was at the Kansas City Art Institute, and that was kind of a cool place for illustration students to freelance for or go work for, like out of school or in school. I think at the time they were the largest card producing company in America. If that sounds right.
Yeah, they had to be. They have to still be, I'd imagine.
It's Hallmark, right? So.
Yeah. And they own so many other card companies too.
Yeah.
So they would hire a lot of the local talent, Jim?
Yeah. I actually had a couple friends that were in the illustration program with me that wound up becoming like lifers at Hallmark.
Sure.
Oh, really?
And man, once you're in though, that's not my style, but once you're in there, they completely take care of you with,
Yeah, I bet they're paid, huh?
Paying well, full insurance, medical, taking care of people's families. It's
Nice.
If that's one route you want to take, that's an option.
Right.
When you were talking about it, it sounded like animation in a certain way, where everybody's going to draw Mickey. It's got to look like Mickey.
Exactly.
There's no fucking around with the inking. It's a very specific style of simple line drawing inking.
Yeah. I just think it's funny that there's a whole like school of inking based around this stupid cartoon character.
Yeah.
That's just how it works. Like if it has to look a specific way, otherwise it's not the character.
Right.
Right. Well, Peanuts would be the same sort of way. I'm sure that Davis made a deal with Hallmark that
Sure.
Yeah.
to use his character as the go-to.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm sure, man, Tim, if there were these style guides created for it that Jim Davis or his handlers or whatever, they had to approve all of that stuff, right? Before it went out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I think he
And
stopped drawing it pretty early on, didn't he? Or
Yeah,
stopped
I
it?
think so.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Eli's asking, Crumb started with cards too, right? Yeah, Robert Crumb started at, I think it was American greeting cards.
Yeah, didn't a bunch of those underground guys start there?
I'm not sure if they were specifically at American, but I know Crumb was there before he made the move to San Francisco. But I mean, Sean, come on. Once you start taking acid, like you're not going to stay at a greeting card.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're not going to go
Once,
in.
Jim, once you've expanded your mind.
Dave said that he'd come to the drink and draw occasionally in LA.
Crumb?
Yeah.
No shit. Jim, did you ever see him there?
No, I missed him every time. And
God.
Sean, another thing I missed that pissed me off was there was a hip hop, funk, and soul night in LA called Sketchbook, where people would hang out, draw on their sketchbooks, listen to this great music. It was a bar, and one night Prince showed up.
Oh my
man!
God. Oh my God!
And it was the one night I wasn't there, you guys.
Dude, you must have hated yourself for that one.
Dude, I woke up the next morning like on a Friday. It was a Thursday night event, and my inbox was filled with people saying, Prince was here last night. Where were you? Like, why didn't
was he talking to people? Like, what was going on?
He was hanging out. He came in with his like entourage, and he knew the DJ, and he was hanging out behind the DJ booth and then looking at people's sketchbooks.
Oh my God!
But everyone was like,
"This place."
Excuse me.
Where was this place?
It was called the Little Temple in Echo Park.
Okay, because that was a different place. I only went a couple of times, but I went, and there was it was, I think it was on Sunset. It was right near oh shit, what's the name of that? Meltdown Comics.
That's the neighborhood I used to live in, Tim.
Wow, yeah. Well, there was a place where I think, Dave was the only guy I knew, and we were outside in a courtyard. We were drawing, but there was a band inside and a restaurant inside.
Oh, yeah, that's the Falcon.
Okay.
Yeah, that Drink and Draw was there for a short period of time. That was my favorite location because I could walk there.
Oh, cool.
So that was right down the street from Meltdown on Sunset. I
remember there were like 3 or 4 black guys that came. They were all animators, and Dave knew them.
Yeah, LaShawn Thomas.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it must have been LaShawn.
Yeah.
And there's this one woman singing in the band, kind of upstairs. The courtyard is at a lower level. And she's got this great voice. And at some point, one of those guys, the animators, gets up and says, all right, I got to use the head. And if that woman looks anything like she sounds, call my wife and tell her I won't be coming home tonight. And then he came back down and goes, everything's cool. Everything's safe.
Yeah, I miss those LA drink and draws because you never knew who was going to show up. It was always a fun, totally random gathering of people with Dave Johnson, Jeff Johnson, and Dan Panosian as the kind of, heads of the table.
Right.
The main dudes. But I met some really incredibly talented people at those events, man. Like serious talent.
That's
well,
awesome,
I could never,
dude.
I'm an early bed, early rise guy, and I lived in Pasadena, so it was always a schlep for me, and I never wanted to. Okay, it's 10 o'clock, time to go out. It was never that.
Yeah.
So. Definitely curtailed a large part of what LA has to offer people. If you're not a late night person.
Well, like you said, just the driving part of it, man, of like, it takes
an
hour to get everywhere. It just,
especially if you're in Pasadena.
Yeah, right. How long were you there for?
Almost 10 years.
Oh, okay. I
grew up in Seattle. I'm from Seattle. I'm a Seattle guy. So I'm back home.
Nice. Yeah. How's everybody doing?
Good. There's a lot of work on this cape.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really, one of the reasons I called Klaus is, okay, how much of this arm actually shows and how much doesn't?
Yes, I'm figuring that out on the fly. It's a little much.
Well, you can't figure it out. You have to just make it, I mean, because it doesn't figure out.
Right.
Yeah. I'm learning that as I go. But I think I'm going to start going a little more graphic as I get.
I didn't see Jim. I didn't see your Q-tip today.
Oh yeah, it was like a brush pen kind of day, I guess. But I'm actually out of my black calligraphy ink, so I have some stuff showing up hopefully today or tomorrow.
No, I told Susie about the Q-tip, and she loved the idea.
Nice. It's just the little discoveries that different people make that.
Yeah. I never would have thought of it.
Spread the secrets, spread the knowledge of new material.
Love that shit.
Is Klaus, you still here?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay.
Keeping quiet.
Yeah, I got to get out of here in a minute.
Are you all done?
Just about.
Let's
I
see.
got to make a grocery run. Put on my hazmat outfit.
Oh, jeez.
That's not that bad.
Camille is asking if anyone has any regrets for doing comics.
No.
No, I don't.
No.
Nah.
I do.
Do you?
Nah, it's been good. This doesn't seem like work to me.
You want to go back
No.
to selling diamonds?
No, I hated that job.
What was the job?
As a family business, we made bridal jewelry,
Oh,
engagement rings and stuff. So it was good. I learned a lot, but
Jay, did that prep you for like understanding sales and stuff that you could bring that knowledge to
Oh, yeah.
what you do now?
yeah, there was a lot of takeaways. Inventory management,
Right.
working with people, trying to negotiate stuff, trade shows.
Right.
But there's only a handful of people I really liked in that industry. They're, very wealthy business owners that treated people like shit.
Oh, that's terrible.
But, I got to travel the world and work with my father, which was fun for a bit.
How close was Uncut Gems to reality?
There's some shady people. Yeah, there's shady motherfuckers in that business. I would say I knew people like that.
Yeah.
I mean, but there's those types of people in the comic industry too.
That's true.
They just, don't shower as much, maybe.
Well, there weren't that many redeeming characters in Uncut Gems, I'll tell you that.
No, I would agree.
Is that movie worth watching? Do you guys dig it?
I'd wait for it to come out on.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah, we paid for it, which Adam Sandler did a really great job. But
I really want to see it.
what else? We watched King of Staten Island last week.
Oh, how was that, Jay?
Thanks. It was okay.
Where did you watch it?
Huh?
What network did you watch it on?
Just on a variety, like on demand, whatever it was. It wasn't as good as see. What was the other one that we just saw?
Like, I'm trying to figure out if Apatow has peaked or what, because
It wasn't one of his
he was on
best.
a roll, and then he did some really bad ones, like that Amy Schumer one was really bad.
Yeah. I'm a big Apatow fan. That's why we wanted to watch it.
Yeah, I'm a huge Apatow. I love, like, the trilogy of 40-Year-Old Virgin, This Is 40, and Funny People.
Yeah.
Those are good movies.
I liked the Amy Schumer one, but
Did
mostly
you?
for Bill Hader.
For what? Oh,
Bill
Bill
Hader.
Hader. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be good in anything he does. He's amazing.
And Jack
That's
was
true.
great.
I enjoyed the Amy Schumer one. That was way better than the new one, I think.
I don't know, that cheerleading scene at the end was a bit much, Jay.
Well, there's another one that just came. Oh, Palm Springs.
Oh, how was that? I want
That
to
was
see
great.
that too.
That was a good. Yeah, that's.
Oh,
that's
really?
definitely-
Oh, okay,
yeah.
awesome.
It's on Hulu.
Yeah, really good. That's what we watched. We were hysterical on that one.
Oh, all right. That's Andy Samberg, right?
Yeah, he's amazing.
You have
And
to be
J.K.
stoned-
Simmons is in it.
You have to be stoned to watch it.
It helps, but you know, that's like with anything. I think.
It helps.
It's another thing I've never tried. Coffee and
Wow.
Oh, pot's a wonderful thing. Klaus, I'm going to be up there next week.
Speaking of pot, good segue, Sean.
Hey guys, I gotta run. But I loved what happened today. This was great.
This was awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's so good to see everybody.
That looks great, Klaus. That
you
looks
too,
amazing.
Klaus. We'll do another one.
Let me see what Jim. Let me see yours.
There we go.
Oh, that's amazing.
The gritty,
Oh yeah,
dirty.
totally. Yeah. Sean, how's yours going?
Really well, really well. I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
That's me. Sorry. All right. Let me sign off, okay, guys?
All right,
Sure,
bye,
all right.
Klaus.
great
Take care, man.
Hold on.
Great to talk again. Got a hot date.
No, hardly.
We're listening to your conversation, Klaus.
No, you're not.
Let's see. Tim, are you able to move when you have another chance to move the art closer to the camera?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tim, I think you did the right thing taking the time to figure out that arm. This is a little hard to do on the fly.
Well, I showed more of it than Klaus said I had to. So, okay, let's see. Are you on me, Jay? Is that me? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right side up now.
I got it. I got to turn it right side up. Okay.
That is right side up. No, you had it good before.
Oh.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I'm now thinking I shouldn't have showed so much arm.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys, like, how much should be showing? I just am showing, like, the arm right up in here, torn, like the cape is torn.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then up here, it's not exposed, right? Or
Yeah,
Adam.
Klaus suggested this whole area with the upper forearm and lower part of the bicep and tricep could stay covered.
yeah,
And I think it would have been better that way.
a little confusing, but
That's the fun.
yeah,
figuring it out.
yeah.
Jim, what kind of camera do you have?
I have the Logitech
You have the C922, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Tim has the similar one, the 930. So I wonder why yours is such a better quality.
Probably Tim's internet connection would be my guess.
Yeah, I mean, I also turn off my other devices when I get on these streams.
Yeah, I did that.
With the Wi-Fi, I don't know. I'm assuming that matters. Does it matter?
Well, yeah, it takes bandwidth, but
Well,
Yeah.
I haven't cut out.
that's true. Baby steps.
Yeah.
Jay, can you, real quick, I want to see, is there a difference in my camera and Jim's? Because I have the Brio, which is the 4K HD one, and Jim's is just the HD.
Yeah, yours is pretty clear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mine's pretty badass, huh?
But
That's
Jim's
awesome.
is as well. It just takes a second to.
Yeah, Jim's is good. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, that's looking solid too, man.
He's a scary man. Batman is a scary man.
Yeah, well, also don't forget to follow these guys on Instagram at Tim Sale, at Inkpulp, at Jim Mahfood, at Klaus Janson NYC, at Sequence Art. Because we'll be posting up more art on there throughout the week.
Are we closing down, Jay?
No, we can wait a bit. Tim, Sean's still got some to do. You have a little bit to do, but it's up to you guys.
I just thought you sounded like you were winding up.
No, just a quick mention.
I could probably keep going for like another half an hour, I think.
Yeah, I could do another 20 minutes.
I'm closer. I'm closer to being done
Okay.
Cool.
than that.
JJ says they all look great. Brian says any
Oh.
Tim Pencil prelims this week
What about the prelims?
if you're sending them to me.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, Tim, you've been posting a lot of pencil work lately that I think would be fun to ink again.
Yeah? The prelim
Yeah,
stuff
like-
I've been posting.
Yeah, all that
Is that what
stuff.
you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be great to have another
Yeah, I think
session.
so. Jim, what do you think?
I'm totally cool with that, man.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Where can I see these on your Instagram, Tim?
No,
There's a,
I have a Facebook fan page
Oh shit. Okay, I will join that.
that
yeah,
I'm on.
follow that, Jim. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'm on a lot.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
cool.
Tim gives like history lessons on there on like the projects and everything. It's awesome.
Oh, that's great. Okay, cool.
Well, I used to have a website that was managed by Comicraft.
Right. Okay.
They did a great job, but was just way too much work, and nobody was making any money off of it. But I got to be really good friends with a number of people on the board, and they're now all over at Facebook, and we've got a long history together, and that's kind of the core group of people. But increasingly, we've had with COVID, we've had a lot more interest and a lot of people signing up, and
That's great. That's awesome.
yeah, it's very
Yeah.
international too.
Do you guys want to make the prelims available for fans to ink at home while they watch?
Well, that's an interesting idea.
Is that your idea, Jay, or is
Eli says this. You should send out some pencils and we can all join you. But a few guys had asked, I think, in previous weeks as well about following along.
I think that's really interesting. It's up to the
Yeah,
it's
I
up to
think
the
so, too.
penciler though, right?
if people have their own blue lines, however they want to work.
All right, so maybe before the next one, we'll make them available on our site. We can download them, and then
Yeah,
That's a great idea. That is a great idea.
And then you can guys just send me emails, I guess, throughout the stream, and I'll post them up. So yeah, reminder, these will go up on eBay in the next few days, and we will be donating the proceeds to Black Lives Matter charity. And Jim is donating his to Queens Feeds Hospitals, which sends meals and funds to local restaurants in New York, and then goes and feeds nurses and medical staff at the local hospitals. So
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, I like them a lot. They're good people. They always we chat on Twitter and stuff. They're on Twitter, and they just seem like a cool crew. You know.
Yeah, it's a great organization.
So I think we've donated a few grand at least into a few different
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
charities.
How did Cully's sale do for him?
It was really good, actually. Better than San Diego. Better than going to San Diego. So I was happy.
Great.
Yeah.
What was the question? I didn't hear it.
We did a 50% off sale for Cully.
Oh, Cully's thing, right? Yeah,
for 2 days.
That's
And
great.
I'd heard he
He was
bought a
great.
new computer off of what he.
yeah, that was the impetus to raise some funds. His computer broke down, so we did some fundraising for him. So I told him he should get the lighted, the neon lighted one, but he didn't want to go for that. That upgrade.
Well, and it also certainly helped that he had all that stuff lying around.
Yeah, it was good. Some collectors made out with some really good art for really inexpensive. So I'm happy for him. I was going to buy something for myself, but then I forgot. I was too busy.
Too busy burning
Too busy.
Too busy packing up orders for him.
Right.
Had my
Yeah,
An eye
you've been
on
on
the
top of that. Doing really well with that, Jay. With,
Thanks.
Posting stuff about.
we're trying to keep focused here during these days.
Yeah.
I guess for anyone wondering, I'm heading up to Jason's a week from today to sign all the Kickstarter books. So if you're waiting for one, they should be there soon.
Yes, and if you want a copy of that book, I'll post a link here. It's called Drip, and you get a free sticker with it. So
Nice.
Free
you can't
stickers.
go wrong. You can't go wrong with a free sticker.
I tossed mine, Jay. Sorry.
Huh?
I binned mine. I tossed it.
Well, we're almost out of Dave. Oh no, we're out of Dave Johnson stickers. So
I would have kept that.
we got to make some more. I still have some Sean Crystals and some Dan Panosians.
Oh, I was thinking of the ES sticker.
Oh no, those got reordered. Who doesn't like getting stickers in their mail?
Me.
Well,
Depends on the sticker.
let's see. Camille, I didn't know what question you asked, so just throw it up there again.
Tentacle monster.
I'm not sure what it means. Let's see. Yeah, a few people are checking out Drip. Thank you. Let's see.
Awesome. Thank you.
Let's see. Camille's asking, a tentacle monster from outer dimension came to you and will change the future or you don't have to draw, would you accept that? I'm not sure I understand that question. Maybe rephrase it.
I think he's saying if a monster with the power came from the future to give you whatever you needed and you didn't have to draw anymore, would you draw anymore? Or maybe you have to give up your drawing ability to get whatever you want? No, I don't want to know a life without drawing. That's the answer for me.
Is drawing like cathartic for you?
Yeah, it feels like that's why I'm here for the most part.
No, but if you don't, so the days that you don't get to draw for whatever reason, do you feel anxious or,
Yeah, I have trouble giving myself downtime. I probably need more of it, but I mean, look, I do like to go on vacation, but I will bring a sketchbook with me and just play, like not work, but just play in there. I guess even when I'm not drawing, my mind is working on it.
Yeah, that is not me. I can do nothing easily. But,
I can't sit still, not at all.
But I do, and I've always liked. I've drawn on vacation, even when I've gone away with people, because I usually be up way before they are, and I can get some actual work done working on comics. Usually, not inking; it'll be penciling or something, but or layout,
Right.
whatever. But and then I'm done for the day by the time they get up, and that's great. I love
That's
having
pretty
that,
awesome.
doing both of them, and having the option to do that because this is what I do for a living. I draw, so that's cool.
Right.
But I can also do nothing pretty easy.
Jim, you're just always drawn.
Sure, but I mean, like what Tim's saying, though, it's like I think it's important sometimes to do nothing, like to take.
I agree.
And to know when to like walk away from the table. I'm always working in one way or another, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, you can't just do this every waking moment. That's not healthy.
Right. Unless you're Eric.
Right.
That's why I mentioned it, because when I would hang out with him back in the day, or even now talking to him, if there's a day that he doesn't draw, he tells me he gets amped up and he's not as relaxed. Like he needs an outlet for that energy.
Right.
Yeah, I'm no Eric.
I'm not like that. I've never been like that.
Let's see.
I
If you could only
I definitely feel the benefit of drawing every day when I do. I mean, just in the quality of the drawing.
Right.
but it's not a mental thing or an emotional thing. It's a
No.
let's see. Michael's asking if you could only have one inking tool, what would it be?
Oh, that's easy. It's the brush. That's all I use anyway.
Yeah,
I go
bro.
with my calligraphy pen. This guy right here, man. This is the go-to. Get all these crazy different lines, But that's the exception to the rule. If you're an aspiring ink slinger out there, I would still say you learn how to use the brush. Don't get roped into this weird, scratchy world that I live in. This shit's not for amateurs, guys.
Don't try to play amateur ball with the big league.
It's so arrogant. It's like
That's awesome.
Now, once I learned, first became interested by seeing how other people did things, and outside of comics mostly, and the different ways you could use the brush. Just keeping it very simple and very bold, and yet very wet into dry brush that bleeds into a dry brush, or just that kind of thing. Only outlining half of the figure, leaving the rest to, well, for me, to wash or some sort of gray tone with graphite. Just different kinds of ways of composing.
Right.
And that would only work with a brush. If I had to be limited to one. I love the combination of the pen and the brush, but I had to be limited to one brush, definitely.
Yeah.
Hey, Tim, is there a time with the graphite that you specifically use that or incorporated into the execution of the inks in your work?
You mean, when do I apply it? Or why do I use it for a certain drawing or not?
Do you, I guess I'm asking, like, when is it something that it's like, oh, this face needs to have a little graphite shading on it, or is there a rhyme to the reason?
I use two things that are graphite. One is a soft, like a number 9, number 9 pencil that allows for some smearing. But I also have graphite powder, which is a dangerous thing because you can easily spread it all over the place, and it's so wonderful that way. But I live in fear of it, sneezing or something like that.
Right.
But I really, once I discovered using that, like for Cap White, I used a lot of the graphite pencil. And I think I just started fucking around with it, and turned out I loved it. I didn't choose to use it on Cap because I thought it really fit Cap. It wasn't that. I tried to change my art styles to fit the character or the story that I'm doing, but the graphite was not that part of the quiz on Cap. But at missions or at shows, it's such an easy way to use the powder to cover a huge area that you can then go work into with an eraser to give a kind of lighting effect that works really great.
Like pull out the highlights with the eraser. Yeah.
So I usually do it towards the end of things. It'll be, at least for the powder, it'll be like the sky or something like that. It won't be part of the figure necessarily.
There's a good question from Mikey. What was the most challenging part about inking Frank Miller today?
What part
I think we're all going to agree it's that damn arm.
That damn arm, yeah.
The cape and the arm. How much to show?
Other than that, though, I had a blast. Like, I think his stuff.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun with this for sure.
Yeah,
but
anytime it's very graphic, it's okay by me.
This image, though, this one we chose with the Batman beat up and being all gritty, though. I mean, this lends itself to diverse inking approaches, I think,
Yeah.
You could go super scratchy on this and dirty. You could go clean, and it's still.
Klaus's was really clean.
Yeah.
Was it?
I didn't get to see it before he hopped off. I didn't see where he finished it at.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Let me see if I can ask him to send me a picture so I can post it.
I'm going to make a scan of this when we're done here. And I'll probably post it on my Facebook.
Nice.
Yeah, send me, both of you guys, send me the high res. I'll embed it in the podcast
Okay.
if you can.
How high
Chuck,
do you want?
Like normal print, like 300 DPI maybe.
Okay. You want a TIFF or a...
Yeah, TIFF would be great.
Okay.
Sean, I'm going to add a little paint to this guy, and then I'll send it to you.
Yes, of course.
You know me, I got to add a little.
Yeah, you got to put a little spice on it, little sugar and spice.
I got to add a little stank on it, and then.
Yeah, you got to get the funk on it. Stank on it. That's awesome.
I got to put my weight on it, man.
Jim, I apologize to everyone else. You're not going to care about this. But did you listen to Psycho Les from the Beatnuts produced a Cool Keith record?
No.
I forget what it's called, but the cover is just a black cover, and it says Keith in red.
Okay. I'm making a note of that right now so I won't forget.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that.
And I'm also going to make a note of Tim. Is your Facebook just Tim Sale?
It's fans. Well, no, it should be fans of Tim Sale, I think.
Well, yeah. I'm just Tim Sale, but there's a fans of Tim Sale.
Okay.
That's the page with all the cool info, Jim. Fans of Tim Sale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are two really weird things to look up together. A Cool Keith and Tim Sale. Benjamin Lee says my inks remind him of David Finch. I'll take that as a...
Yeah, I don't see that either, but...
Yeah. I like David Finch, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's figure work. I think what he really cares about is his figure work.
Right.
I think it really shows, and he's great at it. And he uses, I think what Ben has taught is that he uses a lot of black to cut into the form.
Mm-hmm.
The form itself casts shadows. It's also very graphic in that way.
This quick note for Eli and Mikey, who are now wanting to join the fan group of Tim Sale. They ask, there's 3 questions you got to ask, or you got to answer.
Two
questions. Sorry, they just go back in and.
Yeah, and they're very perfunctory. They're just, they serve 2 purposes. One is because I'm interested, and the other is to weed out robots and spammers and people like that. And you will not be, you don't, unless I know you.
Right.
Well, I have gone and invited people too, just on my own, and that automatically gets in. But
there's an important question coming in from Susan Bailey. What kind of background noise do you all have going on while you work? Music, podcast, silence?
Music mainly for me. Sometimes podcasts.
Which podcast?
Lately, I've been listening to Be Real's podcast from Cypress Hill. Been enjoying him.
Susan is my wife, by the way, and she's not only addicted to podcasts, but she's going to start her own. She's converted the garage into a
nice
studio, and
she going to do an inking podcast?
No. It's going to be about stories of the death penalty, and she's absolutely against it, and so just different aspects of dealing with it, and thinking about it and talking about it.
Wow.
She do it with her sister who lives with us, Annie or Gigi. It's her name. But they, Susan often she's an esthetician, and when she works on people, she'll often have a podcast up. And for a long time, it was always true crime. Just fascinated with stuff.
Yeah, Mo's a big My Favorite Murder fan.
Yeah, my wife is an esthetician as well, Tim, and she also enjoys that stuff.
They're just planning to kill us.
That's what I say. That's what I say.
You guys better keep an eye out on these women in your life.
Yeah.
They're coming after you.
Just going to go on record.
But for the original question, it used to be music. It's not music anymore. It's TV. And it depends on what's going on. And in COVID, there's, until just recently, and it may go away again, but my favorite thing to do was to have baseball on. And being recording it at the same time, so you can stop and go. But the pace of the game is really conducive to having kind of his background, and then
that's interesting.
Yeah, and certain movies that are more talky rather than actiony,
Right.
Like
Well, I forgot to mention, and I'm very excited about this, Seattle getting a National Hockey League team.
Oh, shit.
the Kraken.
The Kraken.
Oh, what a great name.
Good name. Yeah, definitely.
A lot of controversy about it here.
Is there?
Really?
A lot of old-timey people are against it as it's too poppy. It's too. It'll in 10 years it'll be passé, that kind of thing.
Hockey or the name?
Lovecraft. Lovecraft never dies.
No, the name. The name.
The logo's pretty interesting. I was going to get a shirt just so I can,
the
support.
shirt is great. The graphics are great for it.
Oh, I want to see the logo. That must be cool.
It's an S, but there's a Kraken eye.
That's
subtle.
awesome.
Very subtle. Anyway, and we used to have a pro team called the Metropolitans, which a lot of the old timers wanted. And I immediately thought, the Mets? You're going to want the Mets to be?
Oh. Yeah, that name's already taken and has a bad connotation to it.
Yeah, that's where but there's the other thing about that also really splits camps. Old-timey people hate the fact, and youngsters love the fact that the fans are going to be called crackheads. And the stadium is going to be, the crack house.
COA.
Stuff like that. So
The crack house. That's
Wow, these people have really read into it already. I wouldn't even have thought of crackheads, but okay.
well, I wouldn't have either. But there's they put it up to a public vote, and I guess it was kind of a runaway for Kraken. But they're really two camps: the old timies and the
Right. I think it's a cool name. I dig it. I
I do
mean,
too.
all
I'm
right.
not a hockey guy, so it doesn't matter to me. But
Yeah.
I like the logo, and I like the name. Lends to a lot of
Finished up. Batman's done.
Yeah, I think I'm done too.
Let's see.
nice, Sean.
Here, I'll turn it so you can lift it up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man.
Gotta put my stamp on it now.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Jim.
Jay, can you show mine? Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Well, that looks great, Tim. Wow.
Looks good.
Yeah, I already did 3 or 4 things I'm going to change, but that's all right.
That's beautiful. Wow.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
I'm the only one who had a belt buckle to it.
Oh, you did go in there with the belt buckle.
Nice.
Nice touch.
It's interesting you did that, Tim, because there is a lot of black space in here, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking like maybe should there be, but I don't know.
That's great, man. No, it's so
Yeah, Jim, you
textured.
crushed.
It's so textured that it really does matter.
Thank you.
You crushed it, Jim.
Thanks, buddy. This was fun. This was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
And I'm going to ink the other one too.
Which one?
The one with the arrow and
Oh yeah.
I showed that, right?
Yeah.
But that was before we were on, I think.
That one is more like a layout almost, right? It's like an
It was a sketch
Yeah.
cover.
No,
It was a sketch cover.
I penciled it. Let's see. You see it?
Can you
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, you went in there, Tim.
And I think I'm gonna make the background black, the whole thing, and then the wires or whatever white.
Nice.
Definitely.
Nice.
Very cool.
Very
I
cool.
just really like the idea of this one.
Yeah, it's an interesting and weird composition, right?
Yeah.
Now, guys,
I
don't
like-
discount this
There's
other.
the word balloon that says "bad day," and that just cracked me up. And
Yeah.
Sean,
What
did
were
you,
you going to say,
other-
Jim?
did you see this other Batman piece I did while you guys were working?
yeah, I did.
No. That's awesome.
You go
This is
straight-
a terrible dry Sharpie Batman freestyle, and then a slightly less terrible, fully armed paramilitary angry Batman.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
and these are both straight to ink, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice, Jim. I like that.
So there we go. It's a fun day.
Productive.
So
Definitely.
everybody out there, I'm going to make copies of these and put them up on the FAM site. I'll probably put up the pencil version of the one where he's upside down until I ink it, and then I'll put up the inked one.
This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so for all of you guys asking, these will be up on eBay in the next week or so. Just check with the social media for Jim and for myself and all the other guys.
Yeah.
When that is, we'll try to give a heads up. And yeah, thanks for coming in and hanging out with us. Hopefully we'll do this again in the next week or two. Everyone in the meantime, stay safe. Wear your masks. And we'll be back soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.